I found something which I think could be interesting and very important. I considered myself so stupid for not having figured that out earlier. I really was unsure if I was just... I didn't pay enough attention, but I just did so much to figure out one riddle, one mystery of this game. But I never considered reading the descriptions of the items I got surrounding this riddle, surrounding this mystery, which would be this playbook. And playbooks, you can use those items to get, in this case, incantations like magic for faith builds. And this one has an incantation that is called Law of Regression. I was walking... I still don't know if this is really... I have already talked about all of this. I still don't know if this is really the... I don't know if this will solve the riddle, but I think it might.
Very well, let us both learn together. Heresy is not native to the world. It is but a contrivance. All things can be conjoined.
I hope you didn't hear too much noise of the microphone, but I think I don't want to have it right in front of my screen. Okay. Now, study incantation. Law of Regression heals all alignments and displays all special effects. Best boy, best pope. Turtle pope. I can't use this. I need... Why do I need intelligence to use an incantation? Okay, I'm willing to try this. Incantation of the Golden Order Fundamentalist, one of the key fundamentals. Heals all negative statuses, blah, 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 blah. The Fundamentalists describe the Golden Order through the powers of regression and causality. Regression is the pole of meaning. Okay. Big message popping up. Can't ignore it. Regression is the pull of meaning that all things yearn eternally on converge. I strongly believe that this law of regression could... What did just get damage? Could solve the mystery of the statue of Radahn in the capital. But now I need to visit Renala, because I should have enough oval tiers to respec my build to an intelligence build, and then again respec it to the way it is right now. Like, how much do I need to do this one incantation, which is so out of the ordinary, needing intelligence and not just faith? Memorize spell. I could learn so much more spells. I could use a lot more spells, but who would want that anyway? Law of Regression. Cannot use this, but I will equip it anyway. I need 37 intelligence. And at least now I have once. Now I've once used the rebirth in this game. Urge-free Sanctuary. So that should be worth it. Like if this doesn't work, I have to say I will be disappointed. Which is like, no, I'm so stupid. I forgot that I need a little bit of faith to use the two fingers. Is 10 enough? 10 is enough. Could be right. It was so obvious. plot twist. I am not quite healthy just yet. I did not... This is such a slap in the face, and I noticed that there was another message, but this is such a slap in the face for Radahn. Like, there are so many statues of America all around, and Radahn has like 2 or 3. Like, there are 2 or 3 statues of Radahn all around the entire map. And this one being the biggest, the most important. And the guy who built it actually built it for America. It was just a spell that hit it. This is rude. Radahn is America. I thought something like that when the statue turned, but like I said in the beginning of the stream, I have watched a little bit into the lore. I have a lot to talk about stuff, and this just changes a lot. I mean, it's kind of strange to think about it, because either America... It's so narcissistic if you think about it. America had a marriage with... Or like let's... Sorting out my brain. Let's call her or him Radahn for now. Radahn was married to Rennala, the first queen of the moon. Or more likely the last queen of the moon. So... I really need to think about it a little bit to just really figure out how I want to phrase this. Radahn was married to Rennala. With Rennala, Radahn had children, had at least one child that I know of that it's his and that it's from Radahn and Rennala, which would be Rani. Like, I would expect Renna to be also a child of Rennala and Radahn. But Renna wasn't that important in the story until now, and Rani is one of the demigods, or one of the shardbearers, more likely. So, Rani is definitely the child of Radahn and Rennala. One thing I didn't do in the stream, but which I did on my second playthrough, on my own, which I kind of am sad now that I didn't record it, but Roger, who you meet in Stormvale Castle, he has a questline on his own. On my questline on the stream, he pretty much died as soon as I found him. He was also not really at the Roundtable Hold. But he is giving you the information, first, that Rani is the daughter of Rennala and Radahn, which I think is pretty easy to figure out since Rani is one of the Carrion. So she is the offspring of Rennala, and since Rennala was knowingly married to Radahn, I need to breathe through. Yeah, it's pretty obvious that Rani would be the daughter of Radahn and Rennala. And Roger also tells you that Rani is the sister of Rykard, Radahn, and Radahn. Like in Elden Ring, you can actually think about the names of certain characters, and you get who they are from pretty easily. So Rani has the R in it, and it sounds a little bit like Radahn, or Rennala for that matter, so she's the daughter of them. And Rykard and Radahn also have pretty similar names to... at least they have the R. And also I called Radahn at the beginning so many times Radahn. So yeah, you can figure out who the offspring of whom is pretty easily. One thing that is not clear to me, or at least it hasn't been specified, it hasn't been proven by the story in-game yet, is if Radahn and Rykard are the real siblings to Rani, or if they are more likely half brothers or half sisters. Which I thought they would be, because we have fought Radahn, which I will talk about also a little bit next. Let's get back to the Turtle Pope. We have seen Radahn in the last episode. He was so tall, so incredibly powerful. He was just a monster. And he wasn't just a monster because Melania, so many names, I'm so bad at names, I'm sorry. Melania has poisoned him with Scarlet Rot, but that's not the reason. That's not just the reason why Radahn was a monster. I guess first and foremost he was the monster because he was a demigod. So my line of thinking is Rennala and Radahn. Could they have given birth to someone like Radahn? I thought to myself that would be a little bit unlikely. I thought it would be more likely for Radahn, who was probably pretty powerful himself and really important himself, to have a child like Radahn with Marika, who was his second wife, which is also something to talk about, but later. So I thought maybe since Marika was Rani's stepmother, Rani was considered a demigod, or at least someone of importance, some shardbearer, but half sister to Rykard, who I can't really talk about since we have never seen how Rykard looked without being in his serpent form. Like, we have never seen who the hell Rykard is, what he looked like, what he was before he let himself being eaten by the Great Serpent. So Rykard could also be the offspring of Radahn and Rennala. Yes, Rykard before the Snakening. Yeah, I think there are some pictures of him in Volcano Manor, but even on those he looked more like Radahn. So yeah, if what I wanted to say before, like everything I'm saying right now is what I wanted to say before I figured out what the statue is. But yeah, I would have guessed that Rykard and Radahn were half brothers to Rani, and Marika was a stepmother. But now giving the message that Radahn and Marika are one and the same, it would mean that Rennala gave birth to General Radahn and Protector Rykard. But it would also mean that Radahn went off, like left Rennala to marry themselves. Like I can't really say if Marika or Radahn is male or female now, since they are both. Or maybe not. Maybe the statue meaning that Marika and Radahn are one the same is a little bit like Protector Rykard and the Great Serpent are one and the same now. They weren't always, but they are now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Were they the same forever, or did they became the same later? That's the thing. And since the turtle, since he was the first one talking about Radahn, since he was the one talking about the marriage of Rennala and Radahn, how it inflicted peace to the ongoing war between the Carrion and the ones from the Golden Order. That's why I wanted to talk about him again, about what I figured out about the statue. I mean, it would make sense why the marriage between Radahn and Rennala is so important for the peace in this land, Because at first I thought Radahn is... We never really heard about him before. Like before this marriage, he was on a few item descriptions. We have seen a statue of him, not really knowing it was him. But we have... It's so difficult to talk about him. Or to talk about the topic. I really need to take care of my wording. Like, I have talked about the Tarnished, how they were caught in the intro scene, and seemingly being very important. Marika is also in this intro scene, and she's all over the game. All over the entire game. Always being the goddess, always seemingly so important. But Radahn is a little bit more hidden. He's not in the intro scene. He's almost nowhere to be found before. So I always thought, who is Radahn exactly? Why is it so important that he... Why is he so important that through the marriage of him and Rennala he could inflict peace on a really long ongoing war? So if Marika and Radahn are actually the same, that would make a lot more sense for the information I have right now. Like, there could be more information you get later on in the game that explains why everything makes sense. And that would contribute to the theory that Radahn and Marika became one and the same, that they kind of immersed later. I guess after having a few children. Maybe, hopefully, I don't know. Or maybe not. I don't know. Okay, let's talk to the Purple Toad. What?
Need anything?
About Radahn.
No, it's said that Lord Radahn, a famed sculptor of the Erd Tree capital, was once when he glimpsed the skeleton in Radagon's closet. And as such, it's said the great statue harbors his secret too.
Oh. Maybe I shouldn't have skipped through that. He was saying the same as he was before, but giving one additional information that I kind of... Okay, question. Why they are the same? Two reasons. One, probably unlikely for From Software game, but I could imagine one just to make the gameplay more interesting, to have like a secret to discover. This is kind of fun. I love about Elden Ring that it gives you just enough information to really theorize about a lot of stuff. Like this entire stream is just theorizing. Partially theorizing, partially giving on the information I got. Actually, I didn't read that comment before, but yes, exactly. Are you saying Marika ate Radahn? Yes! I mean, yeah, no shit, in-game reason, please. Yes, I get why you're saying this, like, it's a bad thing to point on right now. But you can't really blame me, because I think in a lot of games, this is really the only reason why they build stuff in, or why they have some story stuff hidden. Like, really, so many pieces of information that might be necessary in games are just hidden behind riddles to make it a little bit more exciting. So, like I said, I doubt that this is... Why am I climbing this? I doubt that this is the case in Elden Ring or in From Software games, because they put a little bit more thought into their games, into their gameplay, into their everything than other games. Might sound harsh. I like other games, but this is just the truth. You know that this is just the truth. So I think there's another reason. And one of them might be that Marika wanted to hide the fact that she married herself, giving another name. But what was very interesting right now, when talking to the Turtle Pope again, was the fact that he said that the sculpture looked upon Radagon's skeleton in the closet. The question is, why was Radagon's skeleton in a closet? Why was it just the skeleton? Why didn't he look upon his corpse? Why didn't he look upon his entire body? And we just figured out that I guess I shall go back to Renala to get my levels back, to put everything in strength and faith and everything again. Did the metaphor, you genius? You dingus? Is it? Like, really, is it? Can you say by just hearing what the Turtle Pope just said, can you really say that it's a metaphor and not just straight up a fact? Yeah, you're saying most likely, but you can't know that. And, like I said, we have just discovered that Lady Tanith is eating Radahn to become the next vessel for him. So I guess Lady Tanith being wife, I said the wrong names, I'm sorry. But we just saw Lady Tanith eating Rykard to become his vessel, his new vessel. The Great Serpent was his vessel before, now it's probably Lady Tanith for him. So they are also kind of becoming the same. So why not? I mean, eating someone seems to be one way in this game to become the same. Or to merge together or whatever. Does the Tanith serpent that will come have two faces then? Maybe. This is also another interesting thing about the fight against Rykard. Since... already gathering my thoughts. Since he had two faces covered in two health bars. And you don't see his face until the second phase. So the serpent could pretty much act without Rykard. And the face of Rykard was at the back, pretty much hidden by the snake. So the Lady Tanith that would emerge, the Lady Tanith that would... I don't know if maybe even calling him the Rykard that comes to existence when Tanith has eaten him completely, would also have a face on her body somewhere, but probably hidden. I mean, this is all just speculations, but I don't think that it's straight up stupid to assume that the skeleton in the closet is directly a metaphor. I mean, if the skeleton in the closet is in fact the metaphor for something secret done, in secret, which would reveal the secret that Radahn and Rykard are the same, it wouldn't do like anything to what I said before. It wouldn't be the one information needed to say that Rykard did not in fact eat Radahn. Like, it would just... the skeleton in the closet, the metaphor being used, would then just mean that maybe the act of Rykard eating Radahn, that was the one thing witnessed. Yeah, last time I was here, I didn't even notice that Alexander was here as well, the warrior jar. Let's talk to him, my guy. So now I talked about almost everything I wanted to talk about this stream.
Hello there.
Hello.
It was a battle marvelously fought.
Yes, it
You
was.
are well and truly a champion, friend.
Thank you.
I,
You too.
on the other hand, am nothing but a crock. One hit was all it took to crack me, and for my insides to come spilling out. After that,
Oh.
I hid like a coward.
You did? I didn't
As
notice.
such, I can hardly stand to face one such as you.
Yeah, I died my first time fighting Radahn, so...
But don't you think I've given up just yet.
That's the spirit.
As luck would have it, there's a veritable mountain of warriors' bodies right here. If I can just squeeze this bunch down inside me, I'll be a mighty warrior again in no time. And you know, the bodies found here are exceedingly fine.
Are
Who could
they?
expect any less from the very warriors who fought in the Shattering, the greatest of all wars. Just you wait and see, friend. I'll grow even stronger. Just you wait when next we meet.
I started healing. I love that I just started healing by talking to him.
Here. Who could expect any? Just you wait.
I wouldn't. I actually wouldn't expect that any of the bodies that are here, like any of the bodies being here, actually have some blood in them. Especially if they were from the Shattering. I think the Shattering was a little bit longer ago, so I still don't like warrior jars. They are so disgusting. Like just the thought of them carrying all the blood of former warriors, like someone just squeezed out the blood from special warriors and put them into jars so they came alive. Okay, I'm pretty interested in this area. I know that it's mainly an area for boss fight, but I also think that it hides something, maybe, since it's so big, and even for a fight so special as the one against Radahn. Which is, it was really incredibly cool, but I want to talk about this a little too. Even a fight against Radahn doesn't require so much space. And especially if you start fighting in these ruins here, maybe they are just put here so you can make Radahn being stuck. And maybe it's for speedruns or so, I don't know. But maybe there's also something here. And just mentioning this, here, there's the statue pointing directly down where I am right now, somewhat. So I want to just search for that area. And while I'm at it, talk a little bit about Radahn. Since one thing that kind of seemed stupid... Oh, there it is. One thing that kind of seemed out of place and stupid while fighting Radahn was just the fact that he was riding this little horse and crushing it. That's the first thing. The second thing is that while fighting him, it seemed kind of strange fighting him. Like it seemed at some points that he would be floating through, yeah, that he would just be floating over tracks or the like of that. Like that. I don't know, maybe you can't understand what I'm saying right now, maybe you... I don't want to interrupt that. Maybe you can't understand what I'm saying right now, maybe you can understand what I'm saying right now. But it's... Sometimes in the fight, it seemed like he was just floating around. And it seemed kind of strange at times. Oh. Oh, this is actually a special scene. I'm glad I walked into here. But yeah, there is actually a little bit of lore behind that. Why it seems like he's floating over tracks. Why it seems... Oh no, this is Scarlet Rot. Yep, it is. I hate Scarlet Rot. But there is lore about why it seems like he's floating on tracks. Also why he's riding this little horse. And that story is actually kind of cute. He loved that horse so much. Like he didn't want to live without that horse. He wanted to have to ride on this horse just forever. And some people figured out that the AI for Radahn is actually called Radahn. Ah, I need to get the names right in my head. That the AI for Radahn is actually called Radahn and Leonard. So the horse is actually called Leonard. And I don't know, I think that's so cute. Just the whole story behind... oh no. Okay, no. They are busy with their fight. Oh no, he's not busy with their fighting. Stupid. Here I was, thought that I would be safe. I hate this situation. Yeah, so this is one thing that I wanted to point out that I thought is extremely... It's not really lore important or anything, but it's just kind of cute to know that he's not just on this horse. Because the developers, or I don't know who, decided that it would be maybe a little bit anticlimactic for the fight. Or maybe special or something. I don't know. But that there's actually the story behind Radahn loving this horse so much, just in the way that I am really fond of Torrent. And he wanted to keep that horse. And the story goes on because, of course, Radahn being a demigod and being such a strong demigod as he is, he got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But his horse not being a demigod, maybe being a spectral seed, but I don't know about that. But I don't know if that's really the case. I don't know that much about the horse, but its name and yeah, the thing about Radahn loving this horse. The horse didn't grow, so Radahn would slowly start to crush down the horse. Oh, he died quickly. This horse that he loved so dearly. And so he began to learn gravity magic. If you pay close attention to the battle against Radahn, he's having like purple stuff around his feet. Which is indicating that he's using gravity magic to float. Which is once why it seems like he's on tracks, which I criticized before, but now I understand why, because he's literally floating. He's not walking, he's not riding, he's literally floating like he's on tracks. Which is, oh, you asshole. Oh no. You just had to turn around, didn't you? I should actually be way able to take those guys on. I'm way over level for this. Why am I making such a fuss about this? But yeah, those two things that I criticized about the battle, they actually have a neat little backstory to them. They actually have a story to them. And a reason, and I think those reasons make up for Radahn looking a little bit ridiculous on this tiny little horse and just floating around. But just the fact that he learned gravity magic while becoming stronger to keep his one horse that he wanted to keep forever. That's like... that's just really a different level of cute. Where am I? But that's not everything that is to know about Radahn. Radahn, best human boy. No, I'm sorry, but Radahn is not a human. Like, Radahn is everything, but Radahn is not a human. Oh! Hello, Cleanrod. I also love this dungeon because this dungeon is representative for the battle between the Cleanrod Knights and Radahn. Or like it's representative for the fight between Melina and Radahn, both having their little army. Radahn with the Redmane Knights or the Kaled Knights, and Melina with her Cleanrod Knights. This dungeon is actually pretty cool. because it represents the ghost, the spirits of this battle still going on. How did I miss this guy so much? But yeah, I need to really focus on what I want to tell. But yeah, Radahn, not a human, a demigod, being able to outgrow his horse. Like, meet a human that is actually able to outgrow a horse. And... okay, let's for 1 second forget about everything I have told about this dungeon, because it's not that important. And focus on Radahn himself and the names he had. One, of course, being General Radahn, because he is clearly just... he was just a war general. he like, everything to say about his name, General Radahn, is that he was a general. Radahn, best humanoid boy. I can't fail with that. That's fair. But yeah, Radahn has also the name Starscourge Radahn, I think. Which I also didn't really notice because there's a lot in the Rani quest that I have skipped, sadly. In this playthrough. Since I entered Redmane too early. But he was also called Starscourge Radahn. Which is his name because he fought the circulation of the stars and won. Which... I know this. Hello, my little friend! I could so tell that this is going to be the fight in here. Let's see if I can stagger him. How much luck am I supposed to have with this fight right now? I actually can stagger him. Nice. Oh, come on. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no, he has Crimson Rod. I hate Crimson Rod. It's like the toxic from Dark Souls. But yeah, however you would fight, what is he doing? Oh, he was literally doing nothing. Yeah, but Radahn would fight the stars and their circle, and he would win. Which maybe is because of this whole... That was directly behind me. Maybe because of his whole gravity magic thing. Maybe he was so good at gravity magic that he could fight the stars themselves. Which is kind of strange if you think about it. Because in the game it is when you get this information that I'm giving you right now. When you get those informations, it seems like... oh no. It seems like... It's just presented as I am presenting it to you right now. Like, Radahn was really fighting the stars. Which sounds so strange. But I guess he was. Wait, I have something. I just wanted to use my Flask of Wondrous Physics. That almost killed me. Whoa, great, I used the shield. And this whole thing of Radahn fighting the stars, oh no, is also the reason why what? I thought I was being grabbed. I mean, now I really need to win this fight fast. I also didn't really go into this fight with my maximum of healing. And I'm just playing very stupid. Very stupid. Oh, come on. I will die because of the Velvet Rod. In just a few seconds. If I would have done the charged attack, it would have been the victory. Yep. It was super obvious what just happened. You know, I will just... No, I won't just make you. I'm running out of stamina. Yeah, it's just... well, time out, but same. Not quite. If you would be banned, you would still be banned. I didn't check what I got. I guess a new spirit to call upon, which I might do later, or might never do. I would presume that it's a little bit special Ashes of War. Not special, not Ashes of War, but... you know, those ashes in here. Maybe this one. Legendary Ashen remains used to summon, yes. Spirit of Kristoff. An honorable knight of Leyndell. Okay, nope, I didn't get this one here. Ah, probably this one. Spirit of the mighty knight versed in the use of a great bow. A valiant warrior who will attack immediately after being summoned. Most of the spirits do, to be fair. The longest serving member of the Redmane Knights, Ogre, study techniques to manipulate gravity alongside Radahn. Make use of a rain of gravitation arrows in response to a war cry, but only once. I didn't know that. That's actually quite interesting that you can also use your own abilities to influence your ghosts. Yeah, it's kind of cool. But yeah, I actually just went in here to talk about the whole ordeal about Radahn. And also, because it was pretty confusing last stream, why all the stars started to move when you kill Radahn. If you don't know the fact that actually Radahn is responsible for the stars not moving anymore, which he probably did. Oh, actually, this is a good theory. Which he probably did. And when you talk to the character who is telling you the whole story about Radahn fighting the stars, she is telling you that Ranni's destiny is held by Radahn. And one could assume that Radahn did challenge the stars. Yeah, that's correct. That Radahn fought the stars because he actually wanted to punish Ranni, to actually fight against Ranni, because this is the part of the story which I want to talk about now, as I'm going to Nokron, probably. Is the story about Ranni, which I also skipped in this playthrough. Like, there's so much that I skipped. I'm so sorry for that. You didn't... I don't think that the red mark was actually necessary for you to find this. After having Blythe telling you that the way to Nokron is open, and before telling you that the well to Siofra River would be the way to Nokron, I think every decent player would have come back here to maybe look into Siofra River, and that would have been noticed. Nonetheless, I appreciate the red mark. But anyway, I would assume that Radahn did fight the stars to get one on Ranni, to punish Ranni, to make her never reach a goal, which now it didn't really matter for Radahn if Ranni reaches a goal or not, because he's dead. Probably one... Oh no, I want to look something else. Look up something else. But yeah, Radahn probably one of the only demigods who stay dead now. Like all the other demigods, they come back. Did you never notice this? I mean, I haven't been in this area since I defeated Radahn. And that's actually my point. Who wouldn't have noticed that? Okay, this is kind of strange. Because the demigods or the offspring of Marika, the Shardbearers, they are gods. They can't die. They can't really die. Which is the reason why Rykard is still alive, being eaten probably by Tanith. Oh, I think with Rykard the story is a little bit different because Rykard also uses the Great Serpent, so I don't think that he will be revived by the Greater Will as the Tarnished are. And since the Shardbearers are gods of the Greater Will, they can still respawn, even though the Greater Will have abandoned them. But this reincarnation, the reason that the demigods can't die, that's the reason why actually Godric is here. And it would have been nice, it would have been just a little bit more clear in this Evergaol, this Everjail, you fight Godric as well. It would have been nice if we would be gone here by now, since you fought him in the Everjail. Would have been a little bit more clear, making out the story that indeed Godric died, came back to life, respawned probably somewhere in Leyndell, and there was captured, imprisoned probably by Morgoth into the Everjail until you arrive there and kill him again. But this whole reincarnation thing, this whole respawn thing of this whole being undying thing, is also the reason why you can't fight against Morgoth several times, which goes by the name of Margaret many times. But yeah, this is just one thing that I wanted to check up, if he's still there or not. Because one more thing that is kind of interesting, or at least that I consider interesting about... Oh wait. If I'm here, I could also just go talk to someone interesting. Or to someone funny, let's say. I'm pretty sure that wasn't Godric, but another god something. Let me look it up. Yeah, do so. I mean, he looked like Godric, he had the same weapon as Godric. He was also someone who grafted a lot. I wouldn't know. I might maybe I haven't paid enough attention. But I would assume that it was Godric. I mean, in the end, like, this whole thing that I just looked up with if his corpse is still at Stormvale, it's just something that would be nice. But they just wanted to have this boss fight reappear. And that's it. Can I give you a name again? I mean, you could just look for the Everjail in Leyndell, because there is only one, but I give you the name. Golden Lineage Everjail. So Golden Lineage Everjail. And I mean, that makes the most amount of sense, because Godric is also an interesting character. Also that when he gets reborn, when he respawns, being a god, he's undying. He lost all his grafting in Stormvale, which makes sense because every other limbs he put onto his body are not necessarily undying itself. So if he dies once, he would lost all that. He would lose all that. And so Gideon Ofnir about Godric told us that Godric wasn't necessarily a direct offspring of Marika, that he was more of a further relative of her. Which I think is strange because Godfrey being... Oh, it's a Godfrey the Grafted. And what and who is he, and only God knows. Yeah, he's just... I guess... Okay, making the mistake of not noticing that someone is called Godric, Godfrey, or Godfrey. Oh, okay, the E was important. Okay, but Godric also interesting character because he is clearly the son of Godfrey. Since his name, as Godfrey is. Probably. Most likely. But when Siginian often told us that he is not really a direct offspring of Marika, but more like a distant relative, that would mean that Godfrey, being the first husband to Marika and the first Elnord, also had children before being together with Marika.